Am I live? Alright, so I'm start in like a minute just to let everybody go through. So let me say, so I want to say some ish. But wow, we got everybody. Or we're waiting on everybody. Obviously, we're going through some ish right now, guys. I know, it sucks. So yeah. Going through some ish. I hope everyone's staying safe. I know not everyone's dealing with the exact same thing at the exact same area, but we should all, come together. Be safe. Quarantine yourself. I've been quarantining myself a lot recently, and that's why I'm doing this live, because I don't know. I just been thinking a lot. Got a lot of alone time, so I think I needed it, Let's see if I can play some music for a second. I'll give a few more minutes. Let's see, how loud is this? Nice. Alright, yeah, guys, I dyed my hair. I look very weird. Hopefully you like it. Okay. Anyway, everybody, I'm not going to talk for long. I just want to say a few things. Mainly, it gets down to the video that I posted today. So I've been thinking a lot about obviously the coronavirus, and that got me thinking about like life and how the world's going to end. And then I've been watching, sadly, in the last 2 weeks, I've been watching a lot about how the world's going to end, or how much time we have. And although, yeah, that might be a depressing subject, it had the opposite effect on me. It made me just really realize, holy crap, we don't have much time left. So I don't know. I wanted to get on here and talk about that, because I feel like a lot of us take for granted everything that we have. And I've been reading a lot of different stuff, and I love this dude. His name's Gary Vee. Hopefully you guys have heard of him. If you haven't, go check him out. He always talks about the idea of being human, and the idea of being human to the point of how lucky it is that we actually became human. And not only did we become human, but we became human at this specific time in our lives. He always talks about the idea that being not only human, as of all the other things that could possibly be on the world, but being a human at this specific time is in the odds of 1 in 400 trillion. So I don't know if you can fathom that number, but the odds of being human are 1, not in a million, 1 and not in a billion, 1 not in a trillion, but 1 in 400 trillion. So basically, we just won the universe's most impossible lottery. And to me, that is so awesome and so lucky, but I just feel like so many people don't realize that. So I just want to talk about that for a second, because I don't know, I feel like we're not very grateful. And something that I've really realized is that appreciation is such a huge aspect of life, and it makes me a lot happier. And I feel like not many people appreciate it. People are just going through the motions. They just feel oh yeah, I just got to get through this next day, or this next week, or this next month, or I got to get to the end of the year because then it'll be better. No, we don't have that much time. Life is super short. One day there is not going to be a life. One day that we are going to be facing death in the eye, and we're going to look back. And my biggest thing that I always think about is I don't want to be sitting there on my deathbed looking back and being wow, I could have done so much more. And I've made that a big part of my life, is to try to help the people that I care about, the people that are around me, feel the same type of way. Because it would be so sad to feel like you have missed your one shot, because I don't know what you guys believe in. It doesn't really matter. Like, religion aside, we got like 80 years left. Max, most of us have like 60 years left. I saw this thing on a YouTube video, and if you have about 60 years left, that means you only have about 3,000 weeks of your life. And 3,000 weeks might seem like a lot, but it's going quickly. Think about, by the end of the school year, which obviously now we don't have school or whatever like that, but like if in the summer, that's another like 12 to 14 weeks, just boom. So by the end of the school year, now you have even less than 3,000, then less than that, and then 2,500. And it's just like, it really makes you think, like, am I using my time like how I should be? Am I trying hard enough? And I hate when people, and I do this too, so like I'm a culprit, I'm just speaking my mind or whatever like that. I hate when people think like I just need to get through right now, or like next year will be better, or when I'm in my 20s it'll be better, when I'm in my 30s it'll be better. And it's just like, no, like live it right now. Like don't wait for something better to happen, because this is life. We're lucky. Like I said, 400 trillion to 1. It's amazing. Like, we should be celebrating every day. I know that's not possible, but just, I want to like at least put that idea in your mind that, holy shit, we're lucky. And obviously right this second we can't do a whole lot, but this is a perfect time to like at least start trying to do more, learn something. Like, about this time, if you're quarantined right now, like go like learn an instrument, or if you ever want to start a YouTube channel, start a YouTube channel. If you ever wanted to learn stocks, or like learn how to make money online, or create your own business, or like catch up with friends, like what's stopping you? Now you have excess time to just do and focus on yourself. And I feel like a lot of people don't really focus on themselves. They just focus on being able to solve the next problem at hand, as opposed to like thinking in the future. But speaking of, even if you don't necessarily change much right this very second, a big part of, understanding like your own life and whatnot like that is like examining it. My sophomore teacher in high school, the final day of school, he actually like left on this. It was the last thing he ever said to us. He said, guys, remember, an unexamined life is not worth living. If you don't look around and smell the roses every once in a while, then one day your entire life is going to pass. And, when you're 65, 70, you're going to wonder where it all went, because you didn't really live it. You just, were there. I think there's a big difference between examining your life, really thinking about it, and just being there. And I feel like a lot of us just are there, and we're not actually going through it. And so a couple of different ways to start examining your life, and what I do a lot is like remembering things, writing things down, like really living in the moment. So like one thing I do is I have like a best moments of my life list. And then I also have a worst moments of my life list. And then I also have a moments that I learned the most list. And I always write down things that I remember, and especially documenting your life. Like if you are having a really, really good time, take a picture. If you're having a really, really, really bad time, take a picture, remember it, feel that moment, let it teach you something, examine it, think about it, live it, like understand that this is your life. Don't just be like, all right, I'm existing, that was a part of my life, let's forget about it. There's so many things that I forgot, but because I write things down and I really like pay attention to it, like I just feel like I've lived a lot more than I could have if I was just, existing. And a big part of that is just being okay with being human. I think a lot of people get in their head, especially now, like, oh my God, since we're going through something really bad, a lot of people think the idea of being human, especially when they see social media kids online, is they think we have to be perfect, or they think we have to be happy all the time. And life, and especially being human, is not about being happy all the time. And I want you to realize that. And I want a lot of people to think like that, because if you're only ever living for happiness, then you're not going to be living very often. I'm not saying you're not going to be happy often. I'm just saying you're not going to be living to your full potential. Think about it like this. Let's say there's, 5 main emotions. Yeah, you have a bunch of small different emotions, but let's say you experience 5 main emotions, and one of them is happiness. You want happiness. Everyone wants happiness. That's great. But you can only experience happiness 1/5 of the time. Then you're only really examining or living 20% of the time. So imagine if, instead of only living for the moments that you could be happy, living for the moments that you could just be human. You could be living all the time. When you're sad, when you're angry, when you're emotional, when you're jealous, and when you're happy. It doesn't have to be just the best moments of your life is what you write down, what you remember it by. Think about when you're 70 years old and you're thinking back and you're telling your kids stories. Are you going to only ever tell them the happy moments? Or are you going to be like, oh, I remember this time when I was really jealous, or this time when I was in a lot of pain, or this time when I learned something because my best friend stabbed me in the back harder than you could ever imagine. All of these are parts of your life that you should be living and grateful for and be happy about. It's hard to in the moment, but just start thinking about it. Sometimes I love being sad. And that's weird. I know, definitely. But it's because I feel human. It's so lucky. Think about how many living things right now don't have emotion. We could be a freaking tree. But instead we're a human that could experience these hardships or these pain periods or these fantastic moments, these exhilarating, exciting things in our lives. But we got to take that we do take that for granted. We got to be grateful for it. I think it's hard to do, but man, sometimes, I'll be sitting here alone being like, dang, my life sucks right now. But then 2 seconds later, I'll be like, and that's what life's about. This is awesome. I want to write this down. I want to remember this and change it for the future and learn from this. And this is something I want to take. I want to learn from. I want to get better as a human, and I want to put this as a part of my human experience. So I don't know. I feel like I really don't want to regret only remembering the good parts. And I feel like that's a really hard thing for people to grasp, and that's why I want to get on here and talk about that. But yeah, hopefully you guys can do that. I mean, try to live life not just living for the happy moments. So take right now, for example, we're quarantined, we're going through this horrible hardship as a world, but instead of thinking about this as this horrible time, yes, obviously it's bad, and let's do our part and let's make the most of it and try to help and give as much as you possibly can. But on the flip side, think about this. In 60 years, we're going to tell our kids, oh my God, I lived through some historical moment. I lived through something that will forever be remembered by the entire world. This thing we're going through as a human race. How many things does our entire world go through at the same time? Not much. So this is going down in history. This is going to be probably one of the biggest stock market crashes in the world. It's going to be one of the biggest sicknesses in the world. It's going to be one of the biggest political climate changes in the world. This is going to go down in history. And I think we should remember that. And although it sucks, we're going to laugh at it too at the end of the day. I mean, obviously we're not going to laugh at the hardship, but it's wow, our entire world told us to go sit on our couches for months on end and play video games and eat ramen noodles because we had to, stock up at the stores and we had to scavenge for toilet paper. This is weird. So as opposed to being so sad about it, be okay, I'm living a historical moment right now. Let's make the most of it. Oh yeah. And while I'm doing that, living this historical moment, let me change my goddamn life. You know, I want to start doing that one thing that I've been putting off for so long because I haven't had the time. Now is your perfect time. This is literally the world telling you you have no excuse. You should go out and do that thing that you've always wanted to do. Like, this is literally saying, hey, okay, I'm going to stop the world. This is God or whatever saying, I'm going to stop the world, and you're going to sit there and you're going to think about your life. Start working on you. Start realizing that now, look, I put this pandemic in your life to wake everyone up and say, oh yeah, life is short. I need to do something with my life. I don't know. I'm rambling, and I hate rambling. I just hope you guys get the point that, you know, one, life is short. We're super, super lucky to be human. But two, being a human is not just about the happy moments. It's about working freaking hard, doing what you want, not giving a flying fuck about anybody else, and doing what you want. Because in 80 years, no matter what you think, no matter what religion you are, this human body is not going to live the same life. Yeah, you might reincarnate to some random tree. Yeah, you might go on to some heaven, but you as a person have 80 years left, and let's make the most of it. Because we're really, really lucky. And I would hate to see anybody regret themselves because they didn't try hard enough, because all they were doing is going through the motions. Yeah, that's just what I've been thinking about. And one last thing before I go is, I think, the most important part of it all, and this is probably the most important thing I've ever learned, and probably is going to be my first tattoo that I'm hopefully getting this year. It's this idea that really, really cured my sadness. And I'm not telling you that this is going to cure your sadness. I'm not going to tell you that this is going to change your life, but it did for me. And I've read countless books and countless articles about this exact same idea, that it really gives meaning to your life, makes you happy unconditionally. And it might seem simple, so hear me out. But it's the idea of giving as much as you possibly can. You might think, what? That's so stupid. Like, why if I'm trying to make my life happier, would I give to somebody else? Like, I already care so much about other people and don't care about myself as much. And yeah, that might be true. But trust me, when you help somebody else out, when you give what you can and you change someone else's life, it will be the best feeling in the world for you as well. Trust me. Like, the best thing, if you're in a dark place, if you need to get your mind off something, if you have anxiety, try to focus on other people. I guarantee you, you'll feel a lot happier. And it's helped me so much. I read this book about 5 years ago about helping other people as like the one way to cure depression and like to be happier. And again, I'm not saying this is going to cure your depression. I'm just saying, for me, the one thing that I can always fall back on is giving. If I'm in a dark place, if I'm hating my life right now, if I feel like I'm in a rut, if I feel like I don't want to do anything, if I feel like I'm like, not worth living anymore, I'm like, meh, whatever, why am I even trying? Oh yeah, it's because I can have an effect on other people. And that always, always helps me out and makes me feel like I'm worth it. So if you do nothing, if you get nothing out of this entire live stream, I don't really care. But I just want you to remember one thing. If you ever are in a dark place, or you don't know what to do or how to make your life more meaningful, please remember, just start with giving. Whether that being giving advice, giving a helping hand, giving someone a call. Think about, I always listen to these songs that's like, yo, hey, if your plane was crashing tonight, who would you give one last call to? If, the coronavirus was about to kill everybody right now, who would you call? And then it asks, why haven't you called them recently? If they mean that much to you, Why haven't you given them a call? Why haven't you given them a hug? Why haven't you said I love you recently? And it's just like we forget to give a lot of the time. And I think that really hurts people in the long run. I think it hurts myself. When I forget to give, when I forget to love, it definitely affects me a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Again, rambling. I don't need to do this. I just decided, why not think about this for a second, come on here for this live, say what I've been thinking over the last couple weeks, especially over the last couple days. And yeah, if you got some time to think about things or maybe do something beneficial for your life or your loved ones, especially in these next couple weeks or couple months when we're quarantined, do it. This is your time. This is the world saying yo, what's up, man? Now's your shot. Go for it. This is, no better time.